What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Big Rig Roaster Show. We're here with your weekly freight market update, Christmas edition. We got some good stuff for you, but first, I got to remind you guys, don't forget, we are giving away 100 gallons of diesel fuel. 100 whole gallons. It's like almost $500. That's like a day and a half's worth of fuel. It'll keep you going, guys. Anyone can enter to win. All you have to do is go to our website. All you have to do is sign up for the email list. And that email list is putting out weekly freight market update newsletters. That email list is doing product updates, and it's talking a little bit about the foundation, the Big Rig Foundation that we put together as well. We're not sitting here trying to spam you. We're just trying to get the word out. All right. All you have to do, go to bigrigroasters.com, subscribe to the email list, and you'll automatically be entered to win 100 gallons of fuel for completely free, no strings attached. It's like 500 gallons worth of fuel. All you got to do is sign up for the email list. The deadline for that is January 31st, 2024. So you got to get in there. You got to subscribe, and that way you can have the chance to win. Also, if you're watching this on my channel, please go subscribe to the Big Rig Roasters YouTube channel, as well as follow us on TikTok and Instagram as well. We really appreciate it, guys. All right, so getting into news. This is a big one, all right? From the New York Times, the EPA fines Cummings $1.6 billion. U.S. engine maker will pay $1.6 billion to settle claims of emissions cheating. They accused him of cheating, guys. How dare they cheat those emissions? It's absolutely preposterous, you know what I'm saying? The United States and the state of California have reached an agreement in principle with the truck engine manufacturer Cummins on a $1.6 billion penalty to settle claims that the company violated the Clean Air Act by installing devices to defeat emission controls on hundreds of thousands of engines, the Justice Department announced Friday. The penalty would be the largest ever under the Clean Air Act and the second largest ever environmental penalty in the United States. Defeat devices are parts or software that bypass, defeat, or render inoperative emission controls like pollution sensors and onboard computers. This allows vehicles to pass emissions inspections while still emitting high levels of smog, causing pollutants such as nitrogen oxide, which is linked to asthma and other respiratory illness. The Justice Department has accused the company of installing defeat devices on 630,000 model year 2013 to 2019 Ram 2500 and 3500 pickup truck engines. The company is also alleged to have secretly installed auxiliary emission control devices on 330,000 model year 2019 to 2023 Ram 2500 and 3500 pickup truck engines. Violations of our environmental laws have a tangible impact. They inflict real harm on people and communities across the country, Attorney General Merrick Garland said in a statement. This historic agreement should make clear that the Justice Department will be aggressive in its efforts to hold accountable those who seek to profit at the expense of people's health and safety. Wow, guys. They're going to be aggressive, the Justice Department, so you better beware. Make sure that you're not out there deleting your trucks. In a statement, Cummins said they had seen no evidence that anyone acted in bad faith and does not admit any wrongdoing. They don't know. The company said that it has cooperated fully with relevant regulators, already addressed many of the issues involved, and looks forward to obtaining certainty as it concludes this lengthy matter. Cummins conducted an extensive internal review and worked collaboratively with the regulators for more than 4 years. Stellantis, the company that makes the trucks, has already recalled the model year 2019 trucks and has initiated a recall of the model year 2013 to 2018 trucks. The software in those trucks will be recalibrated to ensure that they are fully compliant with federal emissions laws, said John Mills, a spokesman for Cummins. Anyways, it goes on to talk about it a little bit more. It talks about the Volkswagen incident. Volkswagen paid $14.7 billion, and talks about another 2020 investigation by the EPA that found that over 500,000 diesel pickup trucks have been illegally disabling the emissions control technology on their vehicles. So they go on to talk about in 2020, another EPA investigation found that individual owner-operators of over 500,000 diesel pickup trucks have been illegally disabled the emissions control technology on their vehicles. How atrocious. Absolutely ridiculous. So guys, this is kind of like a little bit of warning on what they plan to do in the future. I guess we'll see how this translates over to the semi truck. I mean, obviously California and has already implemented their whole Clean Air Act and their intention to have everything be zero emission by like 2036 or something like that, which is crazy that they think that it can happen that fast. But for all you hotshot guys out there, if you got a 2013 to a 2023, sounds like you are able to or can take your truck down to the dealership and have them fix the emission system so that you can burn more DEF in your truck. And make sure that you are eliminating your carbon footprint. So that's that one. That's crazy, that amount of that fine, $1.6 billion. Like it's an insane amount of money. But it sounds like Cummings isn't too upset about it. So the next story we're moving to is from Freightways. Ramaswamy, I can never say his name right, Ramaswamy advocates for truckers. So he was at the Iowa 80 truck stop. He did a little bit of a press conference, I guess, and talked about some of his policies towards the trucking and transportation industry and what he thinks the country could be doing better. Some of the things he said about trucking or trucker policy: he said, each of us deserves to live in a country where we're allowed to achieve the maximum of our potential. I don't think that that's the case today, for the way that we're treating truckers in this country, who are the backbone of our economy, are the invisible glue that holds the supply chain together. That's nice. It's kind of nice actually to have a politician that is out here recognizing that truckers exist, because sometimes it seems like we are the forgotten children. I understand how that feels. It's like being a redheaded stepchild. So he said, the ideas I'm sharing with you, these aren't black ideas or white ideas. He said they aren't even Democrat ideas or Republican ideas. They shouldn't be. This is common sense American ideas to say that every person should be free from regulatory overreach, that every person should be free to achieve the maximum of their potential without anybody standing in their way. The truckers of this country should not be an exception to the standard. Some of the actual facts, which is what I really like about Ramaswamy, is that he gets down and like actually talks about the facts. Some of the things that he said his policy will address is: we will say no to the World Economic Forum and standards of 2030 zero emission standards for truckers. Quick side note, just to YouTube and TikTok, I am simply reading other people's articles. All right, so don't throttle me for talking about political stuff, please. Zero emissions by 2030, says the World Economic Forum. Ramaswamy says truck no. He says we don't have a trucker shortage as we're taught to believe. What we really have is a retention problem, and what we have right now, especially post-COVID, is an environment where in that short window where there was a sharp demand, a lot of people were able to get a truck and use debt potentially to do it. But now we've burned on the opposite side when we have a glut of supply. This guy's not even a trucker, right? But he's in touch enough to understand that during the surge of COVID, a whole bunch of people got in the industry. They got in a lot of debt to do it, and now everything's flipped upside down. It's real tough, especially for the owner-operators out there. It's glad to know that someone actually recognizes that. His policy aims to drill down on hours of service regulations, provide better truck parking, and it turns away from the California AB5 policy. He also thinks that it's more necessary for us to focus on an increase in broker transparency and investigations into broker fraud. Just everything that we've been asking for. It'd be really nice for that to take place. I hope that, who knows how close he'll get if he'll become the next president, but hopefully I think that what the issues that he's talking about and the information that he's sharing needs to go to other politicians. So it's finally in the atmosphere. We need to make sure that this honestly goes viral. That way other politicians see the amount of support that he's going to get just for talking about these issues from the trucking industry and the transportation industry. And hopefully that infects the other politicians. Another story from Freightways: Iowa trucker is still missing after a month. David Schultz went missing almost a month ago hauling a load of pigs to Sac City, Iowa. His truck was found abandoned on County Road North 14 with his wallet, cell phone, and $2,000 in cash still in his truck, just completely abandoned. The investigation's still ongoing, so that's a really sad story. He's got a wife and 2 twin children that are really missing him right now. And another one, this one's cool. Back to my hometown. from FreightWaves, Reno opens a new cold storage 3PL facility. The cold storage, they said cold storage is growing in the desert thanks to Arcadia Cold Storage and Logistics in Reno, Nevada facility. The facility, built and designed by Thai Cold, is poised to serve major markets in California, Nevada, Utah, and the Pacific Northwest. It is one of the first large-scale 3PL cold storage facilities in the Reno market. The fully racked, state-of-the-art facility has 5 fully convertible rooms with the ability to handle frozen and chilled temperatures from -10 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's also equipped with a 60-foot deep refrigerated docks and doors to manage distribution and container handling services, boasting 254,460 square feet of space. That 37,260 pallet positions are situated in modern 50-foot clear height rooms with 6 to 8 high pallet racking, and using a Vapo-Cold low-charge ammonia refrigeration system that is not only environmentally friendly, but is a blast freeze ready in a full convertible space. So that's pretty crazy. The fact that there's the 3PL business broken into cold storage is also pretty crazy too. It's got to definitely help out in the reefer LTL market, which is, from what I hear, pretty obscure, not involved with that at all. It's cool to hear that Reno is still surging forward in the logistics arena. We definitely got a lot going on here. A lot of freight moving out. It'd be nice if we could get some freight moving in. That way we can get people back home a little bit easier. But, you know, it's on the way from the West Coast. So we got another one. FreightWave story. TFI International buys Deseke for $1.1 billion. So TFI is a Canadian-based LTL carrier. They bought Deseke, which is a flatbed acquisition company. They've bought a whole bunch of flatbed companies. So basically, they're breaking into the flatbed truckload market, and they are thinking about breaking that off into a new or a separate publicly traded company. So they bought Deseke for $1.1 billion. That's $8.30 a share at the close of the market on Thursday, which is a 69% premium. The price tag values Deseke's equity at nearly $400 million, with the remainder tied to a $658 million debt load. If completed, the deal would be executed at just under 6 times Deseke's 2023 adjusted earnings before interest. That's a crazy multiplier. Deseke is a roll-up of flatbed TL fleets. It has executed more than 20 acquisitions since its 2009 inception. After the first acquisition, Deseke had a fleet of just 60 tractors, generating $30 million annual revenue. Today, the carrier is approximately 4,900 tractors, 11,000 trailers, and 1 million square feet of warehousing space. Produced $1.8 billion in revenue last year. Interesting. I wish I had known about this before it happened, because it would have been a good stock gain, because the Deseke's stock bumped, and so we're about to get into Moving into stocks, we got Tesla currently trading at $252.54 a share. That's down $1.96. And they've kind of been, I was looking at them, they've kind of been on a downward trajectory since May. They're trending downward, not super fast. They are behaving completely different than all the other manufacturers. I guess partly because of the whole EV thing. Nikola is still fighting, trading at a whole whopping 88 cents a share, which is up 5 cents a share. But obviously, they've been in a consistent decline since September. They had a little bit of a dip, came back up a little bit, and we're talking about cents here, so not that much going on over there. Cummins is trading at $236.99 a share, which is down $7.01. They've had a resurgence since the beginning of November, but they had a significant dip on Friday, which was probably due to the news about the fine from the EPA. PACCAR is trading at $97.47, which is up 57 cents a share. They've been in a steep climb since November, and you guys are going to see what I'm talking about with all the other manufacturers behaving differently from Tesla. They've been in a steep climb since November. Volvo is trading at $25.81 a share, which is up 2 cents or 22 cents. I don't know. Can't read my notes. They've been in a steady climb since November. Mercedes-Benz owner of Freightliner, trading at $17.25 a share, which is down 3 cents, but they've been in a steady climb since November. TFI is now trading at $132.32 a share. All right, so these are the ones that just bought Deseke. That's up $9.89. They've been trading upwards since June, and then they had that huge spike on Friday because of the news came out about the acquisition. FedEx is trading at $248.03 a share, which is up 67 cents, but they had a significant dip this at the end of this last week due to their second quarter earnings report came out and wasn't looking good. And then UPS is trading at $1.5825 a share, which is up $1.09. They had an end of the week dip as well. Probably has to do with an earnings report. But I think that they're up a little bit more than FedEx because of FedEx's earnings report was pretty significantly bad. So moving into oil and fuel, the current national average is $3.89 a gallon, which is down 9 cents over the last 7 days, 70 cents over the last year. I think we're going to see a pretty consistent small decline like this continuing forward, but we'll see. There is the whole Middle Eastern Red Sea trade embargo blockade things happening, so there's a chance that oil could be going back up. We'll see how well insulated it is due with everything going on. Can't make the comments that I made in the last video because they'll get me throttled. The East Coast is averaging $3.96. The Midwest is $3.80. The Gulf Coast is $3.56. Rocky Mountains $3.93. The West Coast is $4.65. Without California, it's $4.15 because California is at $5.23 a gallon. They're closing in on an even $5, guys. Do you think they can get there by the end of the year? We'll see. But obviously, our winner is still the Gulf Coast, which is where all the action is, which we're going to get to in a little bit. Oil is trading at $73.44 a barrel. So that is down a little bit. It hasn't been rocketing down, but it's getting there. So let's go ahead and move on to some analytics. All right. So we'll start with the overview from DAT. I'm going to try to put some of these up for you guys so you can look at them a little bit while I'm talking through them. First, we got our industry trends. The spot load posts on DAT are down 5.8% this week compared to last week. So that's the second week in December. The reason for that, probably because of Christmas time, stuff slowing down a little bit. Spot truck posts haven't really changed at all. Van loaded truck is down 8.3%, which I think was the same as the last video that I did. Van spot rates are down 3%. Flatbed loaded truck ratio is up 1.7%. Spot rates for flatbed are down 0.7%. Reefer load the truck is down 7%. Reefer spot rates are down 1%. Our fuel prices are down 2.6%. So flatbed's up a little bit. Reefer and van still pretty far down. And yeah, we got some graphs to show you guys. So we'll look into the van stuff first. So on the van load to truck ratio, it's been not as good as 2021 or 2022. It's been fairly flat with the most recent dip here and towards the end of the year. They have this infographic right here that's showing some of the November load the truck ratio hotspot areas. So for November, they're saying the PNW, super hot, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona, Colorado, what is that, South Dakota, Nebraska. No, that's not Nebraska. Yeah, that is Nebraska. No, whatever the state is under Nebraska. Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and all the way up there, New Hampshire is got a pretty good load to truck ratio. And these are the prices that they're looking at between the different regions. So it's looking like our best van pay rate right now, according to DAT. I'm guessing this is based off of November's numbers, so it's probably changed quite a lot in December. But they're looking at those upper plain states at $235 a mile, with the western half of the United States at $215. The whole south area and southeast area are down under $1. And I don't know why anyone would ever want to go to New England, ever. I just don't understand. I've never been motivated. Here is their map for reefer for November 2023. So kind of similar. The PNW hot, Montana hot, Colorado, hot. Arkansas, Mississippi, most of the Gulf Coast there, and all the way up there in Maine, which we're going to talk about that a little bit more later when we get to the truck stop. And obviously, we look at this graph. Reefer load to truck ratio has been really flat throughout the whole year, and is way down compared to 2021, which is the red line. You see the decline come from 2022, and then 2023 is just dismal. So when will this non-freight, I can't say the word, that starts with an R and ends with a secession, end? I don't know. But here is a map of our reefer rates. So we're looking at similar up in the northern plains, 279 a mile, west half of the United States, 252, and then 230 down in the southeast in New England's at 213 a mile. And spot rate, contract rates just kind of been flat line with a steady decline actually over the course of the year. Let's move into the flatbed stuff. Yeah, my favorite stuff right here. So flatbed rates according to DAT, just like everything, has been flat, steady decline throughout the year. With our density, our load to truck densities, P&W always hot, Oregon, Washington always hot, Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming decent, South Dakota, Minnesota decent, Nevada and Utah, which is where I move most of my stuff, is not as decent apparently. We got the Gulf Coast, which is hot right now, along with Maryland and West Virginia, New Hampshire, and Vermont. All have a good load to truck ratio. And just like with the reefer and the van, when we're looking at that year over year flatbed load to truck ratio, we got that flat steady decline. You can see how hyperactive everything was during 2021 and 2022, and then after March of 2022, everything just started going downhill. So the truck stop flatbed, there's a couple heavy areas to pay attention to. So Oregon has a lot of heavy volume available going to the mountain states and the West Coast. Washington has heavy volume going to the mountain states. California has heavy volume going to the mountain states. Arizona has heavy volume going to the mountain states. Wyoming has heavy volume going to the mountain states. Wisconsin's got moderate volume going to most areas. This is all flatbed, by the way. Illinois got heavy volume to the south states. Texas has moderate volume to the mountain states, but they've got really heavy capacity for trucks trying to go to the northeast. Arkansas's got a real heavy capacity. No. They've got real heavy volume going to the south and the Midwest. The Gulf Coast has a heavy volume to many of the areas, but kind of sticking to the south and the east. Ohio's got moderate volume to the eastern half of the United States, and Michigan's got heavy volume to the Ohio Valley and the Upper Plains. The East Coast doesn't have much action going on for flatbed. What does this tell you? Is that there's a lot of stuff moving to the mountain states. The mountain states going out is not great, but if you can get down to the Gulf Coast and the southeast United States, there's a lot of action going on. So if you're up on like the western half of the United States right now for Christmas and you're trying to see where to go, probably want to be trying to get some loads out of the down to the southeast, which is going to be a little bit tough because most of them are going to the mountain states. But maybe you can go to like Wyoming. Wyoming's got some heavy volume, and you can shoot over to Illinois, and then from Illinois shoot down to the south. Might be a good route to go. Now, I got some other graphics. So these are all from Truck Stop for load to truck ratio. What I did is I highlighted all of the videos that you should be, or all the ones that you should pay attention to. Basically, if they have more loads picking up than dropping off, that means that capacity is tighter. There's more loads available than trucks, which means those are areas that you probably can be safe heading to. So looking at the western states, Arizona is lame as always. California is really only hot for the specialized stuff right now. They got some good action going there. Idaho is hot for van work right now. Not a lot of loads dropping off, but they got quite a bit of loads going out. Oregon is hot for flatbed and reefer. Definitely for the flatbed. For the reefer, there's not a lot going on, but they have a tighter capacity. And then Washington is the same, flatbed and reefer. They definitely have a little bit more going on in Washington for the reefer stuff. Looking at this next one, this is for the Plain States. Colorado is Kansas is hot for the van stuff. They actually have a pretty tight capacity. Not a lot going on in North Dakota, but they are tight in capacity for van and reefer. Not like I said, not a lot. You only got 52 loads on the board for van. But that means if you get there, if you're dropping off a load in North Dakota, you got a chance of getting one up. But this big state might have to deadhead a lot. So I probably still wouldn't go to North Dakota, plus it's way too cold. What is NE, Nebraska? Hot for van. Not a ton going on for reefer, but they got a tight capacity. New Mexico is tight capacity for the reefer as well, but not a lot going on. South Dakota, I don't even know why I highlighted this one, because 28 loads is nothing. But they do have a little bit of tight capacity for the reefer work. And then Wyoming is got not a lot, but it's got tight capacity for the flatbed and the van. But none of these numbers are huge. And for some of these mountain states in this area, probably, we got a lot loads going in there, but not a ton going out. So probably be a good idea to try to head down to the southeast, like I said. And we'll hit the Midwestern states. You see, almost everything's highlighted on this one. Iowa's hot for van and reefer loads and specialized loads. All of these states are hot for specialized loads. Illinois is good for flatbed, van, and reefer. So is Indiana. Kentucky, reefer and specialized. Michigan has got some good flatbed work going on and specialized work. Minnesota has some decent reefer work. Missouri's really hot for the vans right now, as well as reefer. Ohio is definitely hot for van work. 828 loads posted on the board, and they only got 632 coming in, so that's really decent. It seems like Wisconsin is hot for all three. West Virginia, they got tight capacity, but not a lot going on, so probably would still avoid West Virginia. Southern states, this is where it's going to get crazy. Alabama is popping. If you can get a load to Alabama, go. Hit the gas and go. Because you got 1,000 flatbed loads on the board and only 242 loads coming in to Alabama. So Alabama's popping for flatbed right now. Arkansas's got a decent amount for for flatbed and van. Reefer's a little slow. Georgia has a really good capacity for flatbed. Louisiana is moving flatbed and van. Mississippi is also popping for flatbed. This is crazy. Mississippi's got 649 flatbeds going out, 31 flatbeds coming in. North Carolina is hot for the specialized stuff. South Carolina, flatbed and van. Tennessee's got some good van work going on. It's pretty even, but they got a good amount of loads. And Virginia is pretty close to being even too for van, but they got a good amount of loads. So what I would say is try to get down to the Gulf Coast, man. Stay warm, stay out of the winter weather. If you're a flatbed, definitely hit Alabama and Mississippi. If you're a van, aim for Ohio. And this all considering rates, because the rates aren't as good down there on the Gulf Coast as they are up in the West Coast. So, but if you could bounce back and forth between PNW and the South States, which is never going to happen, but if you could, that'd be a good way to keep it rolling, keep the rates up. But yeah, that's all I got for analytics, guys. I want to just say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If you guys are sitting here watching the show and you've made it this far, I really appreciate your support. Make sure that you stay safe out there with the winter weather. All right, take it slow, especially with, if you're up there in those mountain states and you're going over those hills, definitely just be careful out there, guys. All right, no load is worth your life. All right. If you guys have anything that you would like to see in this show or in other episodes of the podcast, because yes, we're going to do other things besides the freight market update. We're going to do some interviews and some other things about the industry. Anything that you would like to see, please drop it down in the comments. I definitely want to know. Please also like, share, and subscribe to support us. And follow our main channel. If you're watching this on the Ginger Hot Shot YouTube channel, please go follow Big Rig Roasters on YouTube. We're on TikTok and Instagram also. Please go follow those to support us. That way we can get our foundation up and running. The Big Rig Foundation, which is 25% of Big Rig Roasters profits go to the Big Rig Foundation. The Big Rig Foundation is giving all of that back to the trucking industry through CDL scholarships, through owner-operator relief funding, and other things that we'd like to do as well. So please, all you have to do is like, share, and subscribe, and we'll take care of the rest from there. But again, thank you so much for watching, you guys. All right, stay safe out there. Merry Christmas, and we'll catch you on the next one.